tonight on the Carolina Traveler.
It seems every day I get an email or a phone call from someone.
You keep asking Mike what his favorite destinations are. Well, tonight you get your answers. Mike heads to one of his favorite places in the Carolinas and tells you what not to miss.
Food, glorious food.
Including his favorite restaurants.
This thing. This is massive.
And don't miss these 2 hidden treasures that even the most experienced travelers don't know about. It's all right down the road and right now on the Carolina Traveler, coming to you in high definition.
Welcome to Charleston, South Carolina. I've been traveling the Carolinas for about 7 years. It seems every day I get an email or a phone call from someone saying, where should I go on vacation? What should I do when I'm there? Well, get out a pad and paper because this is the Carolina Traveler's Guide of what not to miss in Charleston. And what's the first thing we do when we're in Charleston, Andy?
Mike, we eat.
That's right, because you can't swing a stick in this town without hitting a great restaurant. Here's 2 of our favorites.
Glorious food, hot sausage and mustard.
I was spending all kinds of time meeting with people to say, how do I formulate my retirement?
A Charleston landmark was recently saved.
What good is sitting alone in your room? Come hear the music play.
The famous singing chef Robert Dixon was ready to call it a career.
I said the cabaret.
After a 30-year run, it was the end of the road for Roberts of Charleston. How do you spell frogwa?
F-O-I-E.
Oh, it's F-O. Until this 24-year-old chef called Robert and said, so then did you call him or did he call you?
No, we called him.
Well, she said, hey, Dad, we want to come work with you.
He was very, very happy. He thought it was a joke at first.
Mary Elena, an expertly trained chef, and her husband, Joe.
And I make fun of Robert all the time for this, is because he's very cheap.
They decided to join the family business.
Well, we were thrilled that Marilena would come, but we weren't too sure about Joe.
Was he excited?
He was extremely excited.
No matter how much love there is it hard because it's Dad, or is it great because it's Dad? It's never an easy decision to work with family. Was it your idea or your wife's idea to come back and work with your father-in-law?
Well, you know, we were kind of talking, you know, he had mentioned it.
This means it's her idea.
Well, you know.
I mean, you either work for someone you don't know who's crazy and someone else's dad, or you work for your own that you know how to get around it.
And you're used to the crazy.
Yeah.
Start spreading the news.
Crazy like well, you know. Who else would try being the chef and simultaneously the entertainment at a restaurant?
I want to wake up in the city that doesn't sleep.
Especially after that idea didn't go over so well the first time he gave it a stab.
One of the first nights I went out there and thought I would sing Happy Birthday.
Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you.
He didn't like it. He didn't want me to do that. He said, a chef's job is in the kitchen. And that partnership only lasted 6 months.
Cheerio and be back soon. I don't know, somehow I'll miss you.
And so Robert started his own place in Charleston and prepared for the worst.
And the stove, we bought used equipment that if we had to close, well, it was no big loss.
But the singing chef didn't flop. Whether through their stomachs or their ears.
I'm getting married in the morning.
They loved it. We made instant friends. People talked it up all over.
Robert Dixon found his way into people's hearts.
Girls, come and kiss me. Show how you miss me.
And 30 years ago, a Charleston landmark was born.
Get me to the church on time.
Born 6 years later, Mary Elena Dixon. And it's also the school where...
My dad went?
There you go.
and my husband.
Mary Elena and her husband Joe Rea. Who cooks at home?
She does not touch anything at home.
Well, they're both graduates of the Culinary Institute of America in New York.
This is that wonderful salt from Spain.
The same school where Robert studied many years ago.
Joe was working 16-hour days, 5 days a week.
Ooh.
I was working opposite schedule. We never saw each other.
And both of them were working the fun but exhausting restaurant life in Florida.
I just shot out of bed one morning and I was thinking,
It hit you.
he just offered us a restaurant that's established in downtown Charleston. Maybe we should rethink the idea.
The rain in Spain stays mainly on the plain.
And so now here they all are. Under his watchful eye, the daughter runs the kitchen.
He has a lot of demands and he expects a lot out of us, as you would like a couscous or a risotto.
And the son-in-law runs the rest. I'm pretty sure he could take you.
Without a doubt, but I'm faster. I can run.
He's right behind you, be careful.
All joking aside, Robert admits to me, the young Joe has become his best friend.
We can always come together in the end and go out for drinks afterwards. And
Hey, if you can have a drink with your father-in-law, you're doing all right.
Of the opera's fair.
And because it's all good for this family, it's all good for the rest of us.
I actually can sing, but I don't like to do it in public.
Well, this isn't
On
public.
purpose.
It's just me and Andy.
Oh, no.
Expect the finest 5-course meal by Mary Elena.
Food, glorious food.
Yeah, we'll let Robert do the
Yeah,
singing.
see?
Food, wonderful food.
And an expertly run staff by Joe. And best of all, the vocal stylings of the original singing chef, Robert of Roberts of Charleston.
Thank you. Thank you.
So there, the singing chef, you met Robert of Roberts of Charleston. Fine dining, gourmet cuisine, but the area is also home to some of the most wonderful, off the beaten path. How do I find that restaurant again? Kind of hole in the wall places? Well, our favorite right here. Ladies and gentlemen, The Wreck. In 1989, Hurricane Hugo wrecked this boat, the Richard and Charlene, into the dock right here. And there was nothing else Fred Scott could possibly name his seafood restaurant. It is the most casual restaurant serving the best low-country seafood, where every day the shrimp comes fresh off the Magwood Brothers shrimp boats just 100 feet from the restaurant. Where are you from?
Charlotte, North Carolina.
And you're here because?
Of you.
These folks have heard me talk about The Wreck before on the show and came all the way down from Charlotte, North Carolina, but no matter where you come from, no one ever regrets the drive to The Wreck. I get asked over and over and over, how do I find The Wreck? Well, here it is. 2 easy things to remember. It's on Shem Creek in Mount Pleasant. Also, if you find the Magwood Shrimpers, that's Magwood and Son Shrimpers, you find them, you found The Wreck.
You can get maps, driving directions, and meal prices, plus more restaurant suggestions from Mike and Andy on our website, wcnc.com/traveler. From Charleston's famous Rainbow Row to its longest-running bed and breakfast. To where to find the best ghosts? That's right, it's all next on the Carolina Traveler.
Welcome back to the show. Of course, we're here in Charleston. Now, you're going to have to take a tour. You can do it by foot, you can do it by air-conditioned shuttle, or you can do it the way we like to roll, horse and carriage. Our tour guide today, Steve Reynolds. How you doing today, Steve?
Hey, I'm doing great, Mike.
It's beautiful, isn't it? The beauty of the carriage ride through this more than 325-year-old city is partly the horses or the mules, but mostly it's the drivers.
This tradition of basket weaving is over 300 years old here in Charleston.
They all know the history and lore of this city. Ours, Steve Reynolds from Palmetto Carriage Company, well, he also has his real estate license, so he knows some fascinating numbers as well, especially for Charleston's famous Rainbow Row.
These houses were built around 1740, so these are over 265 years old today. And as you can see, some of these are for sale. They're listing for over $3 million.
Our next stop, the shopping district.
Well, here we are at the historic market in downtown Charleston, and you may hear this called the slaves market, but that's a misnomer. In fact, slaves were never sold in this marketplace.
Yeah, the historic market. Now, if you ever wondered if Charleston's an international city, this is where you get your question answered. Now, do you have an accent?
From Scotland.
You're from Scotland, and so you're from Hong Kong. Now, where are you from?
I'm from France.
It's a rare profession.
It is.
Glass blower. Yeah, this is not the only market in Charleston. There's another one just about 2 blocks that direction, and a little bit different. Fancy. Over on King Street, the latest in fashion is thriving in the oldest of buildings.
Oh boy. Well, Mike, you know we have one of 2 active French Huguenot churches in America right here in downtown Charleston.
That's the thing about Charleston is like it seems like everywhere you look, you're looking at something that doesn't exist anywhere else. Like this.
This is tea.
South of Charleston on Wadmalaw Island is North America's only tea plantation.
This is it. I mean, we're going to keep this. This is a treasure. It's an absolute treasure.
Mr. and Mrs. Bigelow, legendary American tea makers, have opened up their plantation to visitors so you can have a rare glimpse of how American classic tea is made, start to finish. Now, Steve, this is the most famous inn, the most famous bed and breakfast in Charleston, is it not?
It sure is.
And they call it 2 Meeting Street?
2 Meeting Street Inn.
Let's go talk to the owner. Right next to the Battery sits 2 Meeting Street. Built in 1892, it has never officially been on the real estate market because it was sold by the family who built it to the family who lived across the street. This is a special treat. You are the owner of 2 Meeting Street. And Gene Spell is a member of that family from across the street. Gene's family bought 2 Meeting Street in 1946 for about $33,000. Today, its estimated value? Oh, somewhere between 7 and 10 million.
If you look through here, you're seeing the rooftop, the cupola of the Calhoun Mansion. And of course, the Calhoun Mansion is the largest house in town.
Those Calhouns.
At the time of the American Revolution, Charleston was the 4th largest city in America, the 3rd largest port in America, and the richest city in America.
You know, and through the American Revolution, through the Civil War, particularly in this town, so many lives cut short, so much unfinished business, and it lends itself to all of these ghosts.
These ghost experts out there, we believe that what happens in these tragedies is people die unexpectedly.
While you're here, take a walking ghost tour. It is a fascinating way to learn Charleston's history through the lives of those not actually living, but not actually dead either.
Oh yeah, Mike, this is the Battery. The seawall was built around 1850. It's over 150 years old.
Wow, and the Battery, you know, for us, this is part of what makes this a year-round destination. You can come here in December, right here to the Battery, see one of the most unique parades you'll ever see. You can stand right here on the Battery, the first Saturday night of December, and watch an amazing fireworks display fill the sky over a crazy fun holiday boat parade.
For more detailed information on all of these great Charleston locations, go to the Carolina Traveler website at wcnc.com/traveler. Next up on the Carolina Traveler.
Just keep going straight.
Mike takes you to the one place where you never miss seeing and hearing more dolphins than you can count.
This is probably the best place to see dolphin on the East Coast, I think.
All right, from Charleston, you have access to all the South Carolina estuaries. You have to go on a Dolphin Cruise. Now, most people do this on a powerboat, but the Carolina Traveler Way is with Captain Jack under full sail.
Tacking.
We're sailing today on the Palmetto Tide out of Bohicket Harbor, south of Charleston.
Well, it's not far down to paradise.
We always go out at the right time, and the best time to find dolphin is on a falling tide in this area. We're gonna have to make a quick tack, guys.
You can think of Captain Jack as skipper.
All right, all clear.
All clear. And that would make me Gilligan.
Do you want to steer?
Sure. Tell me where to go.
Just keep going straight. Spin it all the way off. There you go.
If you give me very specific instructions, I can, on occasion, follow them. Are you steering now? No.
And, well, I could, but I'm enjoying watching you steer.
Right now, we're headed for the North Edisto River. Around us are Johns Island and Wadmalaw Island and Seabrook Island.
This is probably the best place to see dolphin on the East Coast, I think.
Where the North Edisto collides with its tributaries, the Atlantic bottlenose dolphin comes to mate and feed and play. Wow. Oh, two of them. And because we're under sail, quietly driven by the wind, we don't just see the dolphins, we hear them every time they come up for a breath.
This area is really unique. It's just extraordinarily clean. The dolphins have a tremendous food source here.
The North Edisto is a rare eastern seaboard river.
There's no industry upstream, so there's no paper mills or steel mills or any of that kind of stuff.
When the seaport cities were settled, this river was too hard to navigate.
And big ships just can't get in here.
So no settlement was established, and nothing but small fishing villages exist today. And this is the wonderful payoff. Clean waters, clear sailing, and plenty of dolphins.
From Johns Island, Captain Jack offers dolphin day trips, sunset cruises, and sailing lessons. Get the details and rates at wcnc.com/traveler.
Here's something you shouldn't miss. You have to see this.
Straight ahead, Mike shows you his two favorite hidden treasures of Charleston.
This is one of the biggest trees, I think. It's very long. I mean, look at this thing. This is massive.
South of Charleston on Johns Island is a monstrosity of inexplicable proportions.
Really wide. Very wide.
This is the mighty and ancient Angel Oak. At its trunk, it is 30 feet around. The branch I am hugging, or trying to hug, is 12 feet around and stretches out 90 feet from the trunk. The branches dip at times to the ground, resting from their own weight. Some of the branches are propped up, a few are banded to keep from splitting. There is no way to know just how old it is because, well, there are no similar trees. Best guess, more than 1,000 years old, but not quite 1,500. The Angel Oak has a way of putting things in perspective. Here's something you shouldn't miss. You have to see this. Just south of the city is Folly Beach. Drive to Folly Beach and then come all the way back towards Charleston to the northern tip. take a look, because it's the best place to see it from. The Forgotten Lighthouse. Standing like a mammoth, it's the ghost of the Carolina coast, the Morris Island Lighthouse. Built on land in 1876, more than 120 years of nor'easters and hurricanes and changing tides have washed Morris Island out to sea. If it's possible for an inanimate object to be defiant, then the Morris Island Lighthouse is trying to teach us something about survival. Expected to collapse into the ocean decades ago, here it is with its weather-worn bricks. The ocean that washed an entire island off the map has yet to bring it down. Perhaps it's waiting for you to come see it. The Forgotten Lighthouse of the Carolina coast. All right, I want to thank our trusty horse scout and our tour guide, Steve Reynolds. Thanks, man.
You bet.
Appreciate it. It was wonderful.
Thank you.
All right, now, go to our website, because there you're going to get a trip calculator and all kinds of tools you can use to plan your own trip to Charleston. Plus, you're going to see a bunch of stories there that we couldn't fit in the show. They're all about Charleston. For example, the South Carolina Aquarium, which you can go to, bring your kids. If you plan your trip right, your kids can spend the night.
When the Carolina Traveler crew goes to Charleston, they stay at the Governor's House Inn. Questions about what you saw tonight? Go to our website, wcnc.com/traveler.
Boy, do I feel underdressed.